The excessive amount of complaining about the length of this game and the amount of content in this game is probably exactly why there is no DLC for Spider-Man 2. Let me explain. Since we're talking about Insomniac, I'm going to use Sony's other first-party studios as the example in this video, but you can apply this to a lot of other companies as well. People are constantly complaining and asking where the games are from Sony's first-party studios, ignoring the fact that if you look at the last time they put out a game and then you apply a standard 4 to 6 year development cycle for AAA games, everything makes sense. That's why something like Ghost of Tsushima 2 coming out of Sucker Punch coming out in 2025 makes perfect sense with the development cycle, considering their last game was 2020. This is true for pretty much all of these, except Insomniac Games, who's notoriously just very fast and delivers content a lot quicker than any of the other studios. But there is a sacrifice to that speed. If we look at Insomniac's release schedule, their output is absolutely insane. Starting in 2016, we got Ratchet & Clank game. 2 years later, we got Spider-Man. Those are 2 AAA games within 2 years. Then we had the DLC for Spider-Man 1 after that. And then in 2020, only 2 years after Spider-Man and a bunch of DLCs, we got Miles Morales. A year after that, there was another Ratchet & Clank game. And then only 2 years after that, or 3 years since the last Spider-Man release, there's Spider-Man 2. There's a lot of shorter experiences in there, like the DLC and Miles Morales, but even their bigger full-length offerings, like the Ratchet & Clank games and Spider-Man 2, tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. But that's the trade-off. You get things more quickly in exchange for them being a little bit shorter. You gotta pick a struggle. Do you want games quickly or do you want games to be longer? Because it has to be one or the other. If this game had not come out until October of 24 instead of October 23 like it did, there would have been constant bitching that there's no games or Spider-Man 2 is taking too long or whatever it is. Like, ask yourself really, would you have been okay with this game taking a whole nother year? No, the majority of you know you would not have. And so that's probably why we're not getting DLC for Spider-Man 2, because Sony heard you and they're like, okay, we're going to make Spider-Man 3 a bigger and more robust game, longer, more side quests, all this stuff, but you're not getting any more Spider-Man for 4 or 5 years. Like, that's probably the sacrifice that we all have to make now, because people were constantly complaining that Spider-Man 2 wasn't long enough. Which, to be clear, I don't care either way. There's always something cool coming out that I'm interested in playing. So Spider-Man 3 could take 7 years. It wouldn't really bother me. I'm just saying, you can either have a studio release games frequently or release a really long game every once in a while. You gotta pick one.